Overwatch just needs to go ahead and make an anime. That's the video, guys. I don't have really anything else to say. They need to start making a full-on show. Dude, this whole new resurgence of Overwatch after its 10-year anniversary has been killing it, bro. They actually brought back like real design, real animation, and they're just having such a good time with the lore. Like they're doing an amazing job, and I'm gonna glaze Blizzard right now because I feel like it. But bro, oh my god, if they just made a whole show, I know they have like a 3 episode anime on YouTube on their official account that really nobody's watched, me included. But dude, oh my god, I watch all the reveals for the new trailers, dude, the d.mon, sorry, new mecha squad tank that they're adding to the game next season. Her whole story arc, that thing with the animation, it was phenomenal, right? Like Wrecking Ball, Hammond threw him in, got him some peak lore with Junker Queen. Oh my god, we're tying all the pieces of the puzzles together. They're increasing the faction size, which is going to be a whole other video that I want to talk about. Factions in Overwatch are just amazing, and they should just make some team ups with factions. But whatever, that's a whole separate idea, separate thing to talk about. But anyways, oh my god, if Overwatch just went ahead and dropped a full-on show, regardless animation style, I don't mind. If they make it an anime, that'd be amazing. If they do the CGI things that they used to do with like, the Genji, Hanzo showdown, the Reinhardt, Call the Stand, whatever it's called, but those those cinematic trailers were amazing back in the day. But these new trailers, I think are probably just like much better for their budget. Maybe, because it's not as much CGI, it's just animation. And they've been doing a great job and tying everything together, especially with the whole new Talon, the new direction that they're going with what's her name, Vendetta. Oh my god, dude, this is amazing. And then the whole reveal of Doomfist with his comic book storyline where he just woke up from the fall with no arm. Oh my god, dude, they're tying these storylines together and it just adds some suspense. And just you want to see what else they bring to the table, because the whole Xion animation was amazing. That fight against, was it Sierra, I think? No, it was Sojourn. That was good. Oh my god, like I'm just having such a fun time, bro. Like it's like they brought back that nostalgic feeling of Overwatch, but it's like amped up to the max right now because there's so many more characters coming. Like every season a new character is coming, and they're just tying the lore in so much. The amount of like emphasis I'm putting on this is not enough in my opinion, because the lore is what's gonna drive this story further and further. And honestly, it's just this typical like superhero supervillain comic book storyline. I know they had some comics, and I haven't read any of them. I think they do it like the online comics. I'm not super entirely sure, but it's just typical, heroes and villains. And I just love the way everything's going right now. We had the whole Null Sector side story going on, the Junker side story, Talon, Overwatch. It's just so many intertwining weaves that are so complex. Emery and Freya, that whole dynamic, and why both of them are on Talon now, which is super interesting. I think she's just trying to keep Emery under control, but like it's just such a nice touch, and I'm really enjoying this a lot. And I think the only way Overwatch really capitalizes off of this, even more than what they're doing now, is just go ahead and make a show. Like that could be a personal ask of mine. I feel like some people definitely share that opinion of mine on the internet, but dude, they go ahead and make an anime, they do numbers. I think like the first episode they did was like 1 million plus views on YouTube, which honestly is kind of low for Overwatch, but that was also a bad year, I think, for them, and just, marketing wise. But like, since their reboot and how hard Overwatch has come back into play in the presence of hero shooters, I don't think anything's topping it right now. I mean, Marvel Rivals, sure, whatever, but I don't even want to talk about them. I don't know why I mentioned them, but this video is about Overwatch and why I want to watch. I want to see something. I want to watch something from them. Like those 4 or 5 minute animation, those shorts are like super fun and it scratches the itch. But dude, damn, I would love to see a full-blown just story shown through a like a show. There's no better way for me to say that. And I don't know what else they could really do besides make an anime, make a show, make an animation. It would just be something great to see, and I think they could super like to just totally like capitalize off what they're doing with the story and the lore. And yeah, I mean, that's just really it because, dude, I got nothing more to say about the topic. Like, let me know if you guys would love to see an anime from Overwatch down in the comments. What kind of like shows they could do. I've talked about this in the past, and you can go the route of doing like think about like Justice League Unlimited. All the intertwining stories with like Superman, Batman, Green Lantern. There were so many different storylines going on. And I don't remember if like there were separate like Batman shows and Superman shows that were like going on airing on the side and then intertwining with the main story because if I think so, and if I like think about it, and if I'm remembering things properly, excuse me, then yeah, that would be amazing. Like they could have prequel stories, like they could do the a McCree and sorry, excuse me, Cole Cassidy, a Cassidy and Ash like storyline. The Deadlock Gang. I've shown like a thumbnail that I put up once, and that would be like a super dope show they could make, and it'd be like a prequel, and they could just animate the whole thing. They could get some good money out of it. It'd be all animation. It wouldn't be too crazy, and they could just like go into like stories, and then at the end of Deadlock, it's like Cass going. It's like that last cinematic between Ash and Cass, where he ends up going and you know, booting up Echo, and then we can see that story on its own and how they ended up going into Overwatch and whatnot. But like, bro, there's so many different avenues they could go. They could go the Junkers, like have a whole show based around like Roadhog and Junkrat and just like all their adventures, and then like have random cameos with like Junker Queen and Hammond. That'd be so cool to see. You could see Hazard storyline, the Freaks. That'd be dope. You can introduce so many different elements and so many different characters within the lore in these shows. I know they're already doing that within the story, but like I just like the visual representation, I like the visualization of these stories, and I'm not gonna go and read these comic books, and I'm not gonna read these story times, even if the voice actor's reading it to me. Like I'd rather see them animate something like they did with the d.mon animation. That cinematic was great. And like that, you can do the whole mechas. You could do a Mecha Squad TV show, and it doesn't even have to revolve too much around Overwatch specifically or like the main storyline. You could do a sideshow that goes into like their lives and like the threats they deal with, because their soldiers are the celebrities. They become celebrities and they're marketed so that they can get funding from the government to continue to protect Busan, right? I forgot where they live. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like it just makes sense to me that they do that. I'm gonna keep going with these random stories. Like, dude, you could do a whole Talon story. You could do like the Blackwatch storyline. Like, I'm sure you guys played Archives. You played as Genji. You played as Reaper. You played as Kaz. You played as Moira. Like that whole prequel storyline. Like they could revive that and just put so much more emphasis on the lore and the storytelling and just animate it fully. And like you could build up to Vendetta's father getting killed, and then now we see the Talon storyline. But the main storyline would be Overwatch versus Talon, and seeing different points of view throughout the story as they shift things around. We saw Sierra's story time, and we saw like Shion's, and it's great. You can see the villain's perspective, you can see the hero's perspective. I think like there's just such potential with this, avenue that they could go in. I mean, again, there's so much more to do with this. You could go talk about like Anubis, Ana, Farah, that whole thing, old Overwatch. Those members reminiscing about it. I don't even know, Los Muertos gang with Sombra. Like, there's so many endless opportunities here, and I don't know, like you could just keep going back into the history of things and then tie that in with the current story time, which is the story we're living through right now that we're witnessing. You know, these arcs between Overwatch, Talon, and then we're seeing in the background like Doomfist. He's coming back, bro. I can't wait to see what happens with Doom, bro. Overall, Overwatch just needs to make some sort of animated show. Whatever that looks like, if it's cinematics, if it's an anime, if it's just a regular cartoon, I do not care. What they're doing is great with their, animations, the cinematic trailers. Just, it's just awesome. And I think that they're missing out on a huge opportunity to make a something even greater than what Overwatch is, and just expand that into further media. Let me know if you guys agree with my thoughts down in the comments. What kind of videos, or what kind of, not videos, what kind of shows would you guys want to see from Overwatch and Blizzard revolving, the teams, the factions, the people, the characters, the lore of Overwatch as a whole? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Catch y'all in the next one.